Hello, everyone needs to watch this video from Quack & Co. I don't care if you dislike me, just watch their video in good faith to get informed. They do Kickstarter reviews, they have a system for if you should back a Kickstarter project or not, and it's a really good watch that goes over everything going on with aDrive's card game. Now, the quick take of this video is it's looking like a scam, and people showing me this video has inspired me to talk about Elestrals. I've been staying away from it because I don't want to give it any publicity, and I don't trust anything from aDrive as far as I can throw him. He's a big dude. I'm 120 soaking wet. And the more I look into this, it's egregious what is going on here. Starting off, when you first hit the page, $1 goal. Really? aDrive just not committing to anything. It's an all or nothing as well. Project will only be funded if it reaches its goal, but then a $1. Now, there might be some kind of reason as to like, yeah, aDrive's put enough money into this, therefore it's pretty much already funded and set to go to some kind of amount, so they actually don't need the money. This is also where it gets really scammy and sketchy, where it's like, okay, so you're set up, but you're only using Kickstarter as a way to kind of consolidate pre-orders for your product. So what's happening here is future products and success of the franchise are being paywalled through stretch goals and then trying to be used through Kickstarter to give it the most promotion possible. Now, I watched a video about this where, you know, someone pledged $500,000 and now it's getting refunded, and there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on behind that. But I didn't like watch the Kickstarter announcement or any like extra information from aDrive about this. Like, if he's saying he's funding it mostly by himself, therefore it's a risk and it's a financial risk, if he's saying anything like that, it just gets even sketchier. And that's why I mean, like, I find aDrive to be an incredibly dishonest and greedy dude. So if he's trying to make it seem like there's like some kind of risk here, or if he's, you know, putting all of this on himself by paying for it in any way, well, the dude makes over $1 million a year. I'm pretty sure he's going to be fine. And he also plays Pokemon for a living, so pretty sure he's going to be fine. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it seems like something Dan would try to leverage because he obfuscates how much money he really makes. Now, where this gets extra sketchy is how confusing everything is for all the products. So like, you go through the Kickstarter and you see like all these things. We have mats, we have booster boxes, we have sleeves, we have all these crazy items. But if you go to the actual pledges, it's starter decks, it's, you know, some booster boxes, and then like crazy stuff, and we start getting to the really big ones, an uncut sheet, and then you actually have a $10,000 pledge for creating an Elestral card and getting everything. But when you finally put in your pledge, you go to the add-ons, and pretty much everything being shown and promoted is an add-on. And shipping isn't calculated until everything is set and done. So whenever you put in all this money, you're then going to get an updated shipping cost when you go to like fill out the survey and finalize your order. So if you add on a lot more stuff, it's going to get more expensive. Or at least that's what it seems like just from all the information about the Kickstarter. Now, it is clearly stated, for more on this and additional copies, see shipping and taxes section. So we have this stuff going on where like each thing has its own extra shipping cost depending on the zones and then taxes and stuff. But you can't search this. You have to like scroll down to the very bottom of the Kickstarter to get this image that has everything about the details. Shipping prices on the page are an estimate. This chart covers only the items in the pledge levels. Additional add-ons may require additional shipping and will be calculated separately in the pledge manager. So this is all after everything gets finalized in a couple weeks, pledge manager thing. But yeah, like starter deck is going to be $7 shipping on top of the $25 for the initial pledge. So yeah, even though this stuff says 0 shipping, it's not like, oh, a free add-on that you get with the shipping you're paying for your pledge. These will incur shipping fees, and you really have to like dig into that. I've seen a lot of questions and comments on the Kickstarter of people asking about this, so there could be a little confusion, and you also might be hit with some sticker shock when you're finalizing, and then it's like 40% in taxes and shipping fees just kind of gets added on depending on what you're adding in and all these zones and regions. Now, we all know about Kickstarter crap and how infamously sketchy a lot of Kickstarter projects are and how a lot of them tend to be scams. So I don't know if this is the meta where you just kind of front a couple of things to get people interested and then you throw everything else at the end as an add-on. It really seems like to me that aDrive is holding true to his personality, that he is incredibly greedy and cares about no one else and nothing else but the money. And he will try to market and exploit that as much as possible. And speaking of exploitation, aDrive is a family-friendly creator. This goes back to the whole Copa thing, and that's where aDrive gets extra sketchy for me. Now, as a Pokemon content creator, you do have a responsibility in your audience because your content is likely to attract children. The reason why Copa blew up is because there was a lot of child-targeting content out there which violates the law because marketing to children has very specific restrictions. Before Copa, aDrive was abusing this. His tags were about trying to get on YouTube Kids and targeting children. That way he could grow his audience the most, because children, they'll just mindlessly follow you, mindlessly watch anything. And here's a screenshot of his channel, family kid friendly. So it's not like, oh yeah, I want, the family to watch me. I want, mom and dad playing Pokemon with the kid growing up with Pokemon and then being a part of it by watching me shiny hunt. No, he's specifically targeting children. Now, when Copa was announced, he removed this, but as you can see, that was very dishonest. aDrive still targets children and violates Copa with all of his content. Unfortunately, it's not being enforced, so we need another adpocalypse to maybe have something get done about this by this statement right here. aDrive just kind of covered up the fact when Copa kind of blew up, but he is still targeting children to exploit them. That is a big takeaway here. Reminder, aDrive leveraged his 1-year-old child because he is that desperate to get on YouTube Kids or get into that child part of the algorithm to generate more views. Most creators or most public figures won't even announce they have a kid, or they'll hold off until like a couple years, or they won't show their child's face for their own future privacy. aDrive says, screw that, I need the views, and then he puts these kind of tags. Baby Pokemon, cute baby. He still targets children for the content, dude. He makes his content and tags with consideration of children finding his content in the YouTube algorithm because it is so crazy for views. We learned this with ElsaGate and all the stuff that made Copa happen. So aDrive is violating Copa, which is why I find this egregious. And in my opinion, this is the most exploiting, child-targeting marketing I have ever seen. It's like I'm looking at the most aggressive Toys R Us Christmas flyer. It's all about bright, colorful, showing as many products. Look, you save money. Save $40. Save $170 with that saving sticker that is just baked into everyone's brain. Now, when you start getting into the higher up ones, it's like, okay, it's kind of hard to say, like, yeah, a child's gonna have $1,000, but it just gets worse the more you scroll down. Oh, look at all of these add-ons. Add-ons, product, just getting blasted by child-targeting marketing. Look at how meticulously this was crafted. I would bet that research went into making this as easy for children to point at and go, "Mommy, buy me this for Christmas," which is kind of another scummy thing. Like, okay, I get it. If you want to have a successful product and a successful launch, you launch it before Christmas. But this is what I mean. This looks like a flyer for any toy store or toy section. The difference is, it's going to take months to print and ship, if they're even on time. So kids are gonna blow all of their Christmas money for something they don't even get to have. With everything I know about aDrive, this was manufactured to be predatory. Also, I'm shocked that this does not show YouTube Kids and you're allowed to comment and you're allowed to monetize these videos when it's promotional material for a child targeting game. That's not something that YouTube needs to manually do. You go into your creator dashboard and you flag your content as made for children. If there was any attempt to be responsible, at the very least, the Elestrals channel would be manually set as made for children. Even if that is somehow weaseled by aDrive to not be the case for whatever reason, it is the responsible thing to do. The problem is, that unravels the game aDrive has been setting up for the last couple of years. And all of that is before we briefly touch on aDrive's content, because the only reason he is successful is because he targets and exploits children with fake Pokemon news. He takes any unconfirmed, unvetted fake Pokemon leak. He knows what he covers is fake. He effectively mentions it in his videos, but that's what confirms it's a lie. That's what confirms it's clickbait in how it's promoted and why he's been wrong about almost 99% of the leaks he's covered. He's also a hypocrite because he called out Tyranitartube for doing the exact same thing. But then aDrive saw the money in it, apologized to Tyranitartube, tweeted out his DM apologizing to Tyranitartube, and then decided, I'm just going to lie about fake leaks until I make tons of money. Oh yeah, and during the big TCG boom a few years ago, aDrive tried to exploit people with that. And now the endgame, after growing his audience from exploiting children and Pokemon fans, is to launch a TCG in response to the hype that is generated by TCG investments, where this goes even further, and it's also touched on by Quack & Co. that this is a 0 out of 10 value project. And the marketing is incredibly predatory on that too. It's all about the investor FOMO, Founders Edition, exclusive Founders Edition print marked with Elestrals Kickstarter stamp, never to be printed again. You back this, and it's like you got a base set Charizard. And you can see that in the larger backer pledges. So pledge $2,500, you get 36 booster boxes, 30 decks, uncut sheet, and way more. This is for the card shop owner that is going to go all in on Elestrals. It's for the biggest fool investors that thinks this trash game is going to go anywhere. Even some of these smaller ones. Like the guy that's living paycheck to paycheck that thinks this is going to be his break in a couple years because he believes in aDrive and that this is going to take off and all these Founders Edition and all of these base sets are actually going to go up a crazy amount in price. Bro, I've seen some depressing stuff. Parasocial relationships and the way that people latch on to influencers, it's disgusting. Can't really do anything about it, but I mean, like, society just needs to be more aware. Also, the way you conduct your content kind of shows that if this is happening, you have done something severely wrong, and you should feel bad about what you have done. Just want to say, I've been eyeballing this Kickstarter since launch, and being a little tight on funds, I was torn between wanting to support one of my favorite Pokemon YouTubers and not investing. After the transparency you showed in the update video about the one backer and his decision you made to protect the other backers, I created an account and pledged for the booster box. Working overtime will be worth it. Fuck, man. That fucking depresses me. And then you see the response. Hey Alexander, we appreciate the kind words. We're going to continue to strive and put you all, the community, as our #1 priority. We wouldn't be here without everyone. That includes you. Thank you for your support. My response would be, no, please don't. Shit, I would even offer this dude free product. I would say the project is going fine. We're going to fund it. It's going to be successful regardless. Don't stress yourself over us, please. And that kind of goes back into all of this. So I don't know if the $500,000 has been taken out. aDrive said there was like $300,000, but some of it's still in limbo because some dude made multiple accounts to pledge crazy amounts. It's kind of weird that anyone would do that, but maybe that's like some kind of giga investor. I don't even know. aDrive was transparent about it, but his upspeak, when did that start? Now, I don't know if this is common for aDrive because I don't watch his content anymore. Used to. I found him because I was like watching a stream like, yo, this guy's cool. I'm going to plug him. Then we became friends. And then he stole my content, refused to properly credit me, and chose to end our friendship there. Also, after I called him out for his hypocrisy, he said this doesn't have anything to do with me. And I was just trying to like hold him to being honest. And then, you know, that he decided to end our friendship over that. So that was cool. How long has aDrive had that trait? Is this something he developed the more and more fraudulent he became? Or is it a defensive mechanism as a part of something potentially going wrong with the Kickstarter? Either way, that came off as like extra mega sketchy on top of whatever else is going on with the Kickstarter itself and that $500,000. Just because you see $1.2 million doesn't mean this is going to be successful and that you need to jump onto it. another concern that Quack & Co had is that if you look at the socials, you look at the actual post, there's very little engagement. aDrive has over 1 million subscribers and even leverages his 2 million followers across all of his socials, which you're going to get a lot of duplicates between Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and stuff. So he leverages that for the Kickstarter, but despite it, he only gets a few thousand views per Elestral update. Video. The actual Kickstarter updates, 8 comments, 81 likes for the biggest update. Recent one, no comments, 17 likes, 11, 0, 412, and it's all like these desperate updates. Why are you being so desperate, my guy? You raised over $1 million. It's the final 48. Huge shout out. But don't you want to see the 1.5 million unlock? It's really sad. And when you go to his channel, you can actually see he has fallen off hard with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. His shiny reactions are underperforming, and it really proves that unless he is lying about fake Pokemon news, unless he is clickbaiting, fake leaks and rumors, he cannot pull in viewership. So he has to be deceptive to get over those 6 figures. But then you can like kind of go to his popular content and you can see that like other reactions, content from other Pokemon games performing much better. So it really shows that aDrive is kind of falling off of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which makes this even riskier. So if you're buying it to be a part of it, you need to know that like this number is not representative of who's going to own product and how much of a thing this is going to be. Who knows how many hundreds of thousands are just pure speculation and investment? How much of this is going to be unpledged? Are there going to be other issues? Will this video and Quack & Co.'s video kind of shine another light on this? Will people start backing out? A big issue that aDrive had with the $500,000 that came in is that if that was to be taken away, either it was a troll or the guy didn't have the money or he couldn't put up the money or didn't want to put up the money anymore, then that would hurt the stretch goals and then that hurts the community. So how many stretch goals are potentially going to be lost because of just natural, not every person that's pledging their amount will fulfill that amount? There's a lot of risks here. And speaking of the risks and challenges are really weird. In my opinion, this is a huge red flag for a Kickstarter being a scam or super sketchy, is how insincere it is. These are more about the risks to the backer, about the refund policy, the damage stuff, the failure to respond to survey, or how nothing can be done if your product is returned because you don't accept your package on arrival. Custom stuff, the updates just begging more and more, not really being excited about making a goal, but telling you guys, hey, we need to get to the next goal. Someone that sincerely wants to launch something that's a passion project they believe in, that isn't only fueled by greed, is going to come off a lot differently than this. The only honest acknowledgement of a risk here is buried in the middle of the paragraph that there may be delays, and in the estimated delivery is for August 2023, and Quack & Co. are very skeptical of that. So when all the pledges are finalized, all the add-ons are taken into account, the payments are processed, and then there's a month of delay? I mean, there's already a lot of problems in the world with supply chain shortages, a lot of people expecting some kind of major recession happening, or like the full effects of the recession really impacting within the next year or so. There's a lot of opportunity for this to go wrong, which means a lot of Kickstarter regret, like we have seen time and time again for many years now, because his entire gig is based off of lying and misleading people through his content. And even going back to the clickbait, you can show how fraudulent the coverage of Pokemon news is with aDrive because of how he clickbaits his ROM hacks. You know, I can't believe this new evolution. Someone that isn't familiar with his content is going to click on this and think it's like a new Pokemon reveal or a legitimate or credible leak. Everything about aDrive's content is dishonest. Everything about him as a creator is also very sketchy. Oh yeah, and during the big TCG boom a few years ago, aDrive tried to exploit people with that by misleading them about the actual price of retro packs and then doing his own breaks and upcharging 300% or more to exploit his audience. They put their faith and trust in them and have given him everything he has, and the way that he responds to that is profiting off of the streams and content from the breaks, which are going to generate thousands in ad revenue, potentially tens of thousands in ad revenue, instead of like actually using that to maybe give his followers or his audience some kind of discount, or at least just be like, hey, here's the average price right now. By me doing the break for you, we can confirm some authenticity so there's less risk for you, but since I'm going to be making money off of making the content, I'm just going to be giving back to my community in this way. It's still outrageously profitable to just film and stream a break and upload it to various platforms, but instead aDrive went, nah, I also have to triple the price on the side. And this is in the TCG community already, where now he's trying to make a product. I don't know, man. Seems evil, greedy, and fraudulent to me, but that's just my opinion. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.